Welcome back to another edition of Recharged in 30. I'm your co-host Nafisa.
I'm your co-host Samina. Today we're talking alternative power, so load-shedding gadgets, solar, and other simple ways to be efficient without breaking the bank. But before that, Recharged in 30 is brought to you by Naked, hassle-free instant online insurance. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP.
So we don't like dating our episodes because our content should be useful whether it's next month or next year. But at the time of recording this episode, South Africa is not currently experiencing rolling blackouts, or as we call it, load shedding.
For any of you listening from outside South Africa, it's where we don't have power for several hours of the day with varying levels of intensity.
But it's been an ongoing issue since 2007, so if you want to reduce your consumption, which will ultimately reduce your electricity bill, keep listening. We will discuss products we use, products you can buy with some tips and tricks, and low-tech options.
Let's start at the very basic level, power banks. It sounds obvious, but nothing feels less obvious when you suddenly have a device to charge and it's nowhere to be found or you forgot to charge it. How highly does power banks rate in Load Shedding 101?
So over the years, I've written many load shedding survival kit pieces, I think, and this is crucial. If you use a smartphone or any gadget that charges with a USB cable, you should definitely own a power bank. I'm still amazed by the amount of people I travel with on business trips who don't carry power banks and end up borrowing from others. I mean, you can't be shooting photos and videos all day without considering purchasing a power bank. And since we are talking basic level, I think it should be minimum 5,000 milliamp hours in capacity. I know it sounds very technical, but you'll see this reading on the box or the sticker. And anything smaller, you won't be able to charge your phone to 100% if you still plan to use it while it's charging, which most of us do anyway.
Yeah.
If you've had a power bank for years now, you may notice it'll start to swell, which is expected. They do have a lifespan about 2 to 4 years, but would also depend on how often you charge and use it. Obviously, us in South Africa with load shedding, we need to charge it all the time and use it daily. And you will notice also your older ones will feel a bit slower because most of the phones now support fast charging. If you've upgraded your phone and it charges faster now with a USB-C cable, you should consider a 22.5 watt fast charging one. It's very difficult to use a slow charger once you become accustomed to a fast one. Well, for me at least. And some of the newer iPhones come with a USB-C instead of USB-A, the part that connects to a plug or power bank. And I'm not talking about the other end that connects to your phone, which could be Lightning or USB-C, but those do need fast charges. So those cables won't work on older power banks.
Ah, okay.
And my current default power bank that goes with me everywhere has built-in cables. So it has USB-C, micro USB, sorry. That sounds like a tongue twister. And lightning cables. So it's also convenient not to carry a cable around.
That Romas power bank is like my go-to. I love it so much. You actually influenced me into getting one. The not having to carry the cables is so great. Like you can literally like plug it in and hold your phone against it and keep walking around like you have a double phone. And just like keep going. It's so nice. And like I loved it so much. I've actually bought it as like gifts for other people.
Oh, amazing.
And it's like really saved me more times than I can count while traveling, especially if you don't know where you're going to end up in the day and like you don't have the right adapters for where you are. It's extremely, extremely helpful. And like you can get a couple of charges out of it. So it's like, it's fantastic. I cannot recommend it myself enough.
I think another underrated thing about it is the design. It's like slim and long, which doesn't feel like a big chunk that you're holding. So it fits directly behind your phone. I think that's what makes it easy to carry around.
Yeah, exactly. Double phone. It's great. So do you use the same power bank while traveling?
Yeah, so I do have a bunch of power banks at home, a mix between Romas and Anker. Those two brands I feel I trust. For me, it depends where I'm going and what I would need it for. A lot of my travels, or whether on holiday or work, means I'm out most of the day. So I do need that 10,000 milliamp hour battery that we spoke about, the power bank. I think it lasts enough. Like if you're out for a full day, you should get like 2 to 3 charges out of it. And because I travel and have a data connection, so obviously I need that kind of intensity because I'm using navigation and that kind of thing. But I also do have another small, very tiny, it's an Anker Nano power bank that has a built-in USB-C connector. It's smaller than my palm and it fits in my handbag. It is, I think, 5,000 milliamp hours. So those two are my go-tos. And when I travel, I find that, I would use those the most. It's like if I'm going for a dinner in the evening, the whole day is done now, so I'll just grab the smaller one. But and you can also consider higher capacity power banks, but you must check the wattage. If, for example, you want to use it on your MacBook, if you're traveling on the go and you need the power. So I know the Anker PowerCore Elite 3, It supports 87 watts of charging, which is actually quite crucial for a MacBook. You obviously can't put it on a low-powered one, so it needs to be that type of power bank. And also, if you are flying, just make sure that the airline you're flying with, you meet the requirements to carry that lithium-ion battery, which I think the cutoff is like 27,000 milliamp hours or 100 watt hours. I mean, I know this all sounds technical. Just read the box and just check with the airline what's allowed in your hand luggage.
Oh my gosh, it is so technical, because I thought that you just couldn't put a battery into your checked luggage. So there's limitations on hand luggage as well.
Exactly, which is like, from what I read, 27,000 milliamp hours. But then to every airline, every country has their own rules. So you just need to make sure, especially in Asia, they're a bit more strict.
Okay, I wish everyone would just like agree on like, you know, a standard, and we could all just go with that, you know. But that's good to know. And also, I didn't know you could get like a portable power bank to charge something as big as a MacBook.
Yeah, it's all in the wattage.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, nice. So like with episode 1, where you said how we need multiple cloud storage, or you use multiple cloud storage because it's helpful for different things, it never occurred to me that you'd use multiple power banks as well. I can imagine, because like, as much as I love that Romas one and it's very powerful, it is a bit bulky for if you're going out at night. So it like makes sense to carry like a smaller, slimmer like device.
Definitely. Like, I mean, if you're out the whole day for travel, like I said, from sunrise to sunset kind of thing, you're going to need like a 10,000 milliamp one. And if you're going out for dinner with your colleagues or whatever the case is, you probably won't even need one, but that would be a nice small backup to have a slimmer, tiny one.
Yeah, that's really great advice. Okay, so to the backup power that doesn't fit in your handbag, what's your go-to portable power bin for smaller home appliances?
So yeah, portable power stations are one of the best gadgets to buy. So whether you work from home or you use smaller appliances or you have a bigger family and with more devices to charge, it's worth actually buying one. Also for things like connecting to home medical equipment, I know that's also key for some people, or your router and other essentials. And if you are buying these portable power stations and you're using your MacBook from home, I know you have to look out for like pure sine wave inverters. Support for the battery. So some of the brands you can look out for are like EcoFlow, Anker, Powerful-S, Gizu, Bluetti, Jackery, Romos. There's so much. But the ones I've mentioned, I feel those are the ones you should look out for. There are many no-name brands, but I can't vouch for them and I don't know the longevity and how it works. But you also need to pay attention to battery capacity and then the wattage. Other things to look out for is like the LFP or Life PO4, which is the next gen lithium ion. These have newer tech and they have longer lifespans, which are more efficient, which is what you want. And then this isn't something you're going to replace like a phone, and these LFP batteries, it feels very tongue twisty. They should last 8 to 10 years according to most of the manufacturers. As we are regarding the wattage, the easiest way to check if your small appliances will work on these portable power stations is to look at the label on it. Like if you noticed your hair dryer or your hair iron, your washing machine, your kettle, your microwave, everything, near the cord, it'll show you how many watts it uses. And the back of the product, wherever. And for example, my hairdryer is 1,600 watts, and I know it'll work with an EcoFlow that I use, which is 1,800 watts.
Wow. So there's a lot to like consider when you're buying these devices to like back up all your stuff, because you have to make sure that it matches up with all your home appliances.
You don't want anything to blow up.
Exactly. Because then, that's a whole other story. As it is, it's in like inexpensive endeavor.
Yes.
You don't want all your devices to blow up in horror movie. Okay. So what has your experience been like with some of these brands for the portable power stations?
Yeah, so I've used and reviewed the EcoFlow and Anker. I've used EcoFlow since they launched in South Africa a few years ago in the middle of load shedding. I personally have had good experiences with it. I like that you can connect your phone via an app and control it remotely. So you can also update the firmware, choose the charging and discharging levels, automate stuff, and you can even connect it to your DB board if that's what you want. And you can also like power it off remotely. Just say you forgot, you plugged something and you're in another room or you left home. You can actually go into the app and check and switch it off remotely.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's like a key feature for me, because whether I like to admit it or not, I can be forgetful, and sometimes I could leave things without switching it off. So that's really handy. And another main crucial thing, I think why it stands out to me, is that it has a fast recharging time. So if you drain, it's the particular model I'm speaking about is the Delta 2. That's a 1 kilowatt hour battery. You can actually recharge it from 0 to 100% in 80 minutes.
That's amazing.
and or 0 to 80% in 50 minutes. Do you remember when load shedding was at its worst and we used to only get like a 2 hour window sometimes?
God, I do
or 4
remember.
hour like that's all your power slot. You must do all your cooking. You must do everything in that time.
Yeah, wow.
So this is where this product shines. In 80 minutes, you can charge the whole 1 kilowatt hour battery. So this is why I like recommending this battery, because of the recharge level. And I've used mine a lot, for like I've put it in my review. If anyone listening wants to read it, it's on recharge.co.za. So I've actually connected my TV to it, my washing machine, my Instant Pot, microwave, dishwasher, hair dryer, and like all my hair tools.
Amazing.
And so they work really well, but as I mentioned, you have to check the wattage. And I didn't feel comfortable using it with my microwave though, because I didn't like the sound of the microwave. It felt very horror movie like.
Oh no, let's not.
Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a little, but I just didn't like the sound. I also tested my air conditioner, which I didn't think was worth it. I mean, from all the devices we cut out during load shedding, I think no one's going to miss an aircon, to be honest. The 30 minutes of it drained it from 46% to 1%. Obviously, I had to test it to know for sure.
Yeah.
And now that I have, I would literally not connect my air conditioner to the EcoFlow.
Yeah, no, there's so much more essential stuff that you can
Right?
use to charge it, use it to charge, then to just use an air conditioner.
Yeah. So the other product that I've tested is the Anker. It's a bit of a smaller unit. It's called the Anker 521, which is 256 watt hours. I'm really sorry for mentioning these technical terms. Or 80,000 milliamp hours, which I use for my home office mainly, like for my laptops and tablets and smartphones, purely because of like the wattage, which you have to pay attention to. I think this is suitable like for small business owners, and not so much for household appliance. It also has like a top handle, which makes it easy to carry around. So even if you're going on a picnic, which I know you love,
Oh,
you can take this with you, pop it in your car. But that said, you can take even the EcoFlow 1 kilowatt hour. I mean, these portable power banks are great because you can take them anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And does make your life just so much easier. And I remember those like stage 6 load shedding days, like even people's like house alarm battery backups or packing up. And this was like before like a lot of these backup power options came along. And it was just so horrible and people were unable to charge any of their stuff. Oh, goodness. I really hope that this episode is helpful for people and that it'll be helpful to, save on electricity or like be more eco-friendly
And
rather
efficient.
than have to, be more efficient rather than having to plan for load shedding again. I really hope that that's what people end up using it for. So speaking of eco-friendly solutions and saving electricity, is solar a good way to recharge all this portable power?
Yeah, so for the higher capacity batteries that you have powering your home, it makes sense to use in conjunction with solar panels. And you're probably this requires obviously an installation from an electrician. In the last few years, there has been an influx of solar and alternative power installers and companies. Just make sure you go with an accredited one, because there have been articles about consumers being ripped off, which is such a pity that, one of the downsides. So when we bought our solar, I can't remember from where, but our electrician did the installation. So I kind of want to say we DIY'd it, but I don't know what other people use, or if you like kind of renting it, maybe then you tied to to that provider. But we do have like an older system, and when we could afford to upgrade, we did. So half of it we can track the consumption because it's connected to an app, which is a bit weird to have a bit of I don't want to say disconnected solution, but we have an old system and a new system, and the new one we can actually track what we're using. And
Okay.
So, it's so funny because sometimes when my husband's at work and he's like, are you using any high powered gadgets? Are you using like a heater? It's so strange that these are now the conversations, because actually, yes, I was using the heater when I got out of the bathroom. It's hilarious, but at least it also makes you more aware of what you're using, like I said, it all comes down to your consumption, which you're trying to reduce. And one of my favorite cases for the solar in my home, which we've powered about 2/3 of my household, is that we can recharge our EcoFlow with the sun. Like, it's not even an ESCOM thing anymore. This whole power bank that I mentioned, this 1 kilowatt hour one that recharges in the 80 minutes, we just, it's run through our solar. And it's set during around midday, obviously, when the sun is out at like its peak. So, so I use that daily. I love this EcoFlow that I move it everywhere with me when I'm around my house. In winter, you want to move to different spots where you're comfortable and warm.
Yeah.
So I use mine on the daily for my laptop and small gadgets. Yeah, but also a solar solution with an inverter and batteries is more expensive, which is why you would also see banks offering like payment plans now and loans for these, which you can add maybe to your bond. So just do research and even take note of which brands and installers that the banks have partnered with, because if you want to find credible companies and not be ripped off.
Yeah. And I mean, we have so much sun in this country. Most of the year, we have so much sun. So, like, it makes sense to take advantage of that. And I think there are more affordable solutions coming out for solar than having to install like thousands and thousands of rand of your own solar and, you know, adjusting all your electricity needs and stuff. So, yeah, keep an eye out for them and hopefully you can find something that works for you. And while we're talking higher end solutions, do you have any energy efficient appliances that you've tested? Like if your goal is to reduce consumption?
Actually, yes, I've been testing an integrated heat pump. It's from Power for Less. It's called IHP Geyser Integrated Heat Pump. I've posted about it on Recharge if anyone wants to see the journey so far. What I'm enjoying using it for is to reduce the consumption greatly by having it on a timer. Like a timed geyser, I think is very crucial. So instead of your typical geysers running all the time, we've set it to heat for a couple of hours in the morning and another couple of hours in the evening where we typically shower, you know. But what I've noticed, once we had a 9-hour, I think, load shedding slot and the water was still warm and we were surprised.
That's incredible.
So that's good to know, which also made me change the hours a bit. So I have it on for less. I sort of changed an hour than what it was extra. I made it less and my water is still hot, which is great. I'm also testing another secondary solution. On my secondary geyser, if you can call it that.
Yeah.
I have a traditional geyser in addition to the IHP, and we've put the solution from Plentify. It's a hotpot device that was installed on my geyser, which turns it into a smart geyser.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a retrofit kind of thing. It promises to reduce your consumption because you just need to let it know when you want or need hot water, and you can also run it on a schedule. So for them, they simplify it by saying, just let us know when you want hot water. Not like, turn my geyser on from 6 to 8 p.m. It's just like, I want hot water at 6 p.m. Then it'll do everything for you.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So you don't have to like, you know, do the maths in your head. It does the maths for you.
If you just feel like, oh, I'm actually going to shower after gym tonight, let me just tell my hotpot that this is what I want. So you can do it that way. So these two items that I'm testing, they're very similar, but yet they're very different. So one requires an outright purchase of the geyser, which is not cheap. And the other is fitted onto your existing geyser and has a monthly fee attached to it. I think it's like 200 rand or less than 500 rand basically. So it's great for those who don't have the down payment for a new geyser, or for maybe someone who doesn't own their property and they obviously don't want to buy a geyser for a house that they don't own. Yeah. Yeah, but I will share an update about them on Recharge soon.
Okay, those sound like very interesting solutions because geysers, as we know, draw so much current and use so much electricity. So it'll be interesting to see how those turn out. We look forward to your review. And yeah, if you don't need to use the geyser when you're not at home or at night, if you're away, it's such a good way to save power. So what about smaller solutions, like quick, easy, cheaper options for the household?
So I think the key here is to find things that are battery powered, portable, or have USB cable connections with low wattage. And also to start for like a very cheap thing, Power for Less actually makes a load shedding light bulb. It's actually called LSP, which means load shedding proof, which you can find at builders. They are actually a very excellent, inexpensive way to start your journey, you know. And if you can get your hands on them, why not? And you can also look for like things like portable fans. I have one from Miko. It's powered by a USB cable, which is great because I can actually plug it into one of my power banks, which is a large capacity, 30,000 milliamp one. I actually sat with it the whole time when Joburg went through a crazy heat wave. I don't know whether you recall.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So I was living with that. It went with me in every room. And for the colder months, you can look at things like an electric throw. It's another item I own, which is low powered. I think it's like 160 watts, which I connect to my EcoFlow. It's not a typical electric blanket that you're thinking of that you need to place on your mattress. It's an actual throw that goes over you like a regular blanket. So it's light and fluffy, and it has about 5 heat levels. It's perfect for using in front of the TV.
What is the difference power-wise between that and an electric blanket? Does it heat up as much as an electric blanket does?
It doesn't heat up as much, no. The intensity levels, it has 5. I feel it's not as hot when I'm on my electric blanket on the bed. But because this is a throw, I think it knows it's directly on you, so it can't really be that hot. I mean, obviously, you can't get burnt.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that's enough for if you're sitting in front of the TV and just want to be cozy.
But yeah, I would recommend it if you're looking for, like we said, this whole episode, we're trying to get you to reduce your consumption. And 160 watts is very low, which you can put into your portable power bank and sit in front of the TV and be a bit warm. I know you also get like portable projectors like the Samsung Freestyle, which is also great for movie nights in summer outdoors or if you want to be inside in winter. And then Ring, they also make a bunch of battery-powered devices, which we did speak about in a smart home episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll also work great during load shedding if you have a video doorbell or a camera. So these are great because these are more security. It comes down to security, and you want it also battery-powered. You don't want to lose that connection when you don't have power.
100%.
Yeah. So you can look at putting batteries on your front gates if it's remote controlled, and so there are also smaller solutions like a UPS for your router or home Wi-Fi, like bedside lamps and wireless speakers.
You know, speaking of smaller solutions, what worked surprisingly well for me is like camping gear stuff. So obviously, because when you're going camping, there's no electricity there. So those kinds of like items like a camping stove, for example. I mean, they're very low tech, they're very like affordable.
Yeah.
And like if like me, you are just very optimistic that load shedding will end. So you don't like, invest in all these other more expensive things, which I think I might actually do now, depending on how our ESCOM situation goes. But yeah, so camping stove is really great for if you just need to like warm up food or boil water just for like, a cup of tea. It was really, really helpful for that. Or if you want to like cook something quick, you can. And then also a headlamp, which sounds like ridiculous, and it looks kind of ridiculous. Like you will like shock your family in the passage, shining a light straight at them. But it's very handy, like if you're like trying to prepare stuff in the kitchen to cook on your camping stove. It is very helpful to be able to see what you're looking at directly, which sounds like very like a simple thing, but it's extremely helpful versus carrying that like light around, that like super bright, I can't remember what it's called.
So your solution is hands-free.
Yeah, exactly. It's a hands-free headlamp, which is so great. And I think important to mention when, there are so many of these like higher tech options, but like sometimes you just need something to like get through the load shedding.
Yeah. You've actually reminded me that a single gas plate, I don't know which one you refer to, but like I was looking on a Korean food website for Korean cooking, a little stove, those single ones. Do you know where it comes with a little gas canister? I was actually wanting to buy one, but I do have a gas stove, so I don't really need it, but I just wanted one because it was cute. But I did not buy it. But I know exactly what you're speaking about.
Yeah, I have seen those. Those are also really great.
Yeah, I mean, you've shared some great solutions, low tech, low key. I was actually gifted a portable car inverter with a 3-pin plug and USB port. So if you're really stuck, you can also use one of those where you can pick them up at a hardware store. I think like a Leroy Merlin or a Builders should have them, and they're around 200 watts.
Nice.
So yeah, while you're on the move, if you need to power your laptop, because if you have a laptop with a 3-pin plug, which MacBooks don't, fortunately, so you might want to consider this, because I know the 3-pin plug can be an issue when you're on the go. And even with the gas ones, I think if you have the option to switch completely to a gas stove, you should. Same like I was saying throughout the episode, I'm trying to reduce my consumption. Even when I have tea in the evenings, I do have an electric kettle, but I ended up making tea on the gas because it's just better. There's no rush to make it, and I think it's just learning new habits, and the more you practice, the more you'll get into it. Yeah, I mean, I won't lie. It's been slightly tough switching my mindset, but I'm trying to be more mindful, but it does take practice.
Yeah, because I think we get so used to electricity, but like honestly, on the gas stove front, I much prefer like cooking on gas. I have a spare gas stove, but I don't. My main stove is electric. But like it is such a pleasure because the heat comes on immediately, and like it's actually a lot quicker to do a lot of like cooking and like heating water and things like that. But yeah, it does, I think, just take a mindset change. And if you are thinking of trying to reduce your electricity consumption, I really hope that this episode has been helpful. We covered a lot. I feel like every episode we've covered a lot, but this one was quite technical, so we hope you enjoyed it. And obviously, if you need to go back and listen, do that. But yeah, we look forward to our next episode with you guys.
Yeah, and also just one more thing: if you have listened to our smart home episode, you'll also like the tie-in with just using apps to control things remotely, which obviously another way to just reduce your consumption and if you forgot to do something. So these are all really great solutions. And also remember, for most of the high-end appliances and home contents that we spoke about, you can get a home insurance quote in 90 seconds or less on the Naked app or website without making a single phone call. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP.
Thanks for tuning in, and catch you in the next one.